Alrighty boys, welcome to a brand new video. So, Steel City Interactive, the guys creating Esports Boxing Club. Esports Boxing Club is a brand new boxing video game that we've all been following very closely. They just released a new gameplay video on their YouTube channel. The video is showcasing gameplay of Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is a very popular boxer, someone that even myself, I know who he is, and I would consider myself to be more of a casual fan of the sport of boxing. I've always said this, I'm a huge fan of the art of boxing, but when it comes to the sport, I don't really follow a lot of fighters. I generally follow fighters like Canelo Alvarez, Vasily Lomachenko, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, guys like that. But when it comes to like some of the boxers that a lot of people that are in the sport of boxing know, I don't know those guys. Anyways, Terence Crawford, brand new gameplay. I haven't actually seen it. I'm very curious to see what this one looks like. I'm hearing its actual gameplay. So let's go right ahead and I'm gonna switch right over to the video right here. And here we go.
Let's take a look at one of boxing's pound-for-pound stars for the first time ever in ESBC. That's right, I'm talking about three-division world champion Terence Crawford. What will you be up against when you see him standing across the other side of the ring? Let's find out. You always feel like you have a chance at first against Terence Crawford. He is a slow starter, gives away the early rounds typically, but that's because he is downloading the blueprint to win the fight. Always has that great footwork. Gets in and out of danger so effortlessly. He's always good at controlling the distance and the pace, and he's always showing you different looks. Switches seamlessly from southpaw to orthodox and back. And one of his best assets, ring IQ. He can outsmart you, and just like that, he can crack you when you least expect it. And now Terence Crawford beginning to pick up the pace and intensity, starting to land at will now. And once he gets his opponents in the corner, they very rarely get out unscathed. And he's the master at the catch and shoot. And when he gets those hands going, they look like a blur. When Crawford has your timing down, you're like a sitting duck. Look at him just working it. Arguably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and there he starts exchanging again.
Nice
he
camera
never stays
angles.
in the pocket too long, even though he is a KO artist. 76% knockout ratio.
He's hurt.
The only man to stop Sean Porter. Now all those shots are starting to take a toll on you. You're beginning to deteriorate, and Crawford
Look at the
smells
blood on the canvas.
And we know what happens when he smells blood. He's 38-0 with 29 knockouts, and he's coming to get you, especially if you stay on the ropes. What a big right, and then he's going crazy. He's letting his hands go.
To the body, to the head, to the body, to the head, to the body.
You're in too deep, and it's all over.
Oh, beautiful.
Bud Crawford finds another victim right here on ESPN.
Oh my God.
Well, we're out of time, and I'm out of breath. Think you have what it takes to beat Bud Crawford? Find out on Esports Boxing Club.
Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. So starting things off, I mean, it's definitely important to highlight where it says alpha footage. They're still work in progress. Try to keep that in mind. And I have said before, these days I'm just going to try to focus on mostly the positives of what I'm looking at. And then if those guys want to hear my thoughts on what I think can be improved, they know exactly how to I can do that specifically with them, is my point. Anyways, so starting things off right away, I mean, we've already said this a million times. The graphics in this game is ridiculously beautiful. It always, like I've said before, the graphics, it doesn't look photorealistic, right? Like, if you take a look at it, it's not like one-to-one photorealism, right? It has more of a cinematic feel to it, more like a movie, like the colors they're going for. They've got blues. Hold on, let me switch back so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. They've got, the blue shade that you see, the tint of red, the small tint of purple, the way things are not overly saturated. The way things are not too sharp to where it's like if you take a look at it, it looks realistic, right? But it's not photorealism. So they're going for a different feel in terms of their graphics. which I personally think is very unique. It's very different. We haven't seen something like this before. It almost looks like you're watching a boxing movie. You know what I mean? Like a movie that was made specifically for boxing. So the graphics, we've always all agreed that the graphics act absolutely beautiful. Now, the movement that we're looking at right here from Terence Crawford, I do remember them talking about how there's like pretty much two types of locomotion that you can have in this game. One's your regular movement, and then one's the more loose footwork, which is, I think that is what we're looking at right here. I know there is a way to trigger the loose footwork, and I know they said that the fighters are going to have like different types of loose footwork. So someone like Roy Jones Jr. is going to have a different type of loose movement. And then, of course, Terence Crawford is going to have a different one. Someone like Canelo Alvarez is going to move different. Right here, they're showcasing some of the camera angles that they have in the game. I really appreciate this as a content creator. I mean, if you're someone that makes content, you definitely appreciate more camera angles, because then as we're making content, we're going to be able to capture things in different ways. So this is going to be the third camera angle that we're seeing right here. The first one they showed was more like a first person. Second one was from the top. And then this one is more like outside of the cage. Outside of the ring, I should say. I really like this. As I'm watching this, I can definitely tell that they've made some improvements in the punch animations. The jabs are looking way snappier as opposed to labored and looking like a rag doll or like a marionette. It's looking more like it's a human being snapping the punches. I like the way the animations flow with the combos. It's one of the few things that I like really stands out to me as I'm watching. The way the combos dig. Every shot seems like it's digging right into the opponent. And then, of course, we can talk about the ragdoll physics. You know, it's something that people really, really love, something that makes the game feel so much more exciting. When you sit down the opponent and you knock them down and you get that ragdoll and it's not like a canned animation, it's always pretty good. So overall, man, really, really solid work so far in alpha. I think the game has a ridiculous amount of potential, so much more that they can do with it for sure. And looking at Terence Crawford, I think it looks like him. I really do think it looks like him. I think the character model is pretty good. So let's go ahead and watch that one more time, and then you guys let me know in the comment section what you think about the footage yourself. So let's watch it again.
Crawford, what will you be up against when you see him standing across the other side of the ring? Let's find out. You always feel like you have a chance at first against Terence Crawford. He is a slow starter. Gives away the early rounds typically, but that's because
that jab is
he is
snapping better
downloading
now.
the blueprint to win the fight. Always has that great footwork. Gets in and out of danger so effortlessly. He's always good at controlling the distance and the pace, and he's always showing you different looks. Switches seamlessly from southpaw to orthodox and back. And one of his best assets, ring IQ. He can outsmart you, and just like that, he can crack you when you least expect it. And now Terence Crawford beginning to pick up the pace and intensity, starting to land at will now. And once he gets his opponents in the corner, they very rarely get out unscathed. And he's the master at the catch and shoot. And when he gets those hands going, they look like a blur. When Crawford has your timing down, you're like a sitting duck. Look at him just working it. Arguably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and there he starts exchanging again.
I'll tell you guys, man, that body hook animation is actually pretty goddamn good.
Arguably,
look at that dig, that left dig to the body. You guys know how much I love the left hook to the body. I really, really love that animation.
Arguably the #1 pound-for-pound.
Boom, beautiful. That's one of my favorite combos too. To the body, to the head, the same side. Left hook to the body, left hook to the head. I do that in UFC 4 all the time.
Fighter in the world.
And that looks pretty
arguably the #1
good.
pound-for-pound duck. Look at him just working it. Arguably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
I like
and there
that.
He starts
I like that.
exchanging again. He never stays in the pocket too long, even though he is a KO artist. 76% knockout ratio. The only man to stop Sean Porter. Now all those shots are starting to take a toll on you. You're beginning to deteriorate, and Crawford smells blood.
On the canvas.
And we know what happens when he smells blood. He's 38-0 with 29 knockouts, and he's coming to get you, especially if you stay on the ropes. What a big
Right hook.
And then he's going crazy. He's letting his hands
To the
go.
body.
And
Look
you
at
got
these
no shot.
combo
You're in
after
too
combo
deep,
after
and
combo.
it's all over. Terrence Bud Crawford finds another victim
Woo!
right
Boom.
here on ESBC.
Sit him down.
Well,
Yeah.
we're out of time, and I'm out of breath. Think you have what it takes to beat Bud Crawford? Find out on Esports Boxing Club.
Yeah. So there you have it. Looks good, man. Like I said, pretty much all of the positives that we've talked about in the past, the graphics, and then for sure, if you're watching and you go up back and you compare it to some of the old footage that we saw before, they've definitely improved some of the punch animations. The jab is looking snappier. Talking about that left hook to the body, the way that thing digs. I really love the left hook to the body. I love the left hook to the head. Of course, the ragdoll is pretty good. And then that loose footwork. Just a few highlights from what I saw. That loose footwork as the fighter is moving around the ring. I keep wanting to say cage. It's moving around the ring as the fighter is moving around the ring. You know, like again, they talked about having two types of locomotion, regular one and then loose footwork. That looks really, really good. Makes the fighter have personality, right? Like it makes the fighter almost look like a living, breathing fighter in there, you know, and you can see that the fighters look like they have weight as they're moving around. So overall, really good work, man. I'm so eager to see how far this game can go. So far, they're doing such a good job, and I'm here, man. I'm here for it. I'll just put it that way. Here for it to see it as far as it goes, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this thing. But that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about the footage. And I'm going to leave a link to the full thing in the comment section, in the description below, I should say. If you've not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to them so you can stay tuned whenever they upload a new video on the game. But that's it. I will see you guys later. Peace out. Have a good night.